What if tonight you could rest in the sweetness of God's care? What if every worry that has lingered in your mind could soften, like sugar melting into warm tea? What if peace waited for you, not in tomorrow's answers, but in this very breath, in this very moment? Take a slow, deep breath. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw loosen. Let the weight of the day drift from you, like sand slipping through your fingers. Again. Breathe in slowly. Let your chest rise gently. Breathe out, and imagine everything heavy leaving your body. Now, one more breath, calm and deep, and let it carry stillness through every part of you. If these stories bring you peace, take a moment to like this video. Subscribe for more nightly reflections, and share where you're listening from tonight. Your words and presence help keep this space warm and growing. Now, take another slow breath. Let's begin. The evening air is soft, golden with the fading light of day. The village below glows with small lamps, a flicker of warmth in every window. The scent of baked bread drifts upward from a nearby home, mingled with honey and wood smoke. Somewhere a door creaks. Gentle voices murmur. Laughter fades into hush, and the world grows quiet enough to hear the heart again. A traveler walks the narrow path toward the village. Dust clings to his sandals. The day's heat still lingers in the stones. His steps are slow, not from weakness, but from a kind of holy tiredness that comes after long roads and longer thoughts. He has known hunger before, the hunger of the body and the hunger of the soul. But tonight, both lead him toward the same door. The house before him glows softly, its walls touched by the amber of firelight. And though he has never been here before, something about it feels familiar, safe. He hesitates, for he has nothing to give. No offering, no words, only emptiness. But from within, a quiet voice calls, not loud, not demanding, only kind. Come and eat. There is room for you here. He steps inside. The air greets him like a warm blanket. The smell of bread rich and sweet. A single table sits in the center of the room. Simple, but beautiful. Upon it, fresh loaves rest beneath white cloth. Beside them, a small bowl of honey glows like captured sunlight. There is a place set, as though someone had been waiting for him all along. He sits slowly, hands trembling a little. The warmth of the bread seeps through his palms. He breaks it. Steam rises, soft and fragrant. And as he tastes, the world seems to hush completely. The sweetness of honey touches his tongue. The salt of tears meets it. And together, they become one. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good, he whispers. And as the words leave his lips, they no longer sound like a verse, They sound like an answer, a truth that fills more deeply than food, more gently than water. It moves through him like light moves through dawn. Steady, sure, kind. Breathe in and feel that warmth settle through your chest. Breathe out and release every thought that says you are not enough. For this table was prepared for you too. This bread, this peace, this goodness, it waits for all who are weary. He closes his eyes. The sound of the crackling fire becomes the sound of a heartbeat, and the heartbeat becomes the rhythm of grace itself. It says, "You are loved. You are welcome. You are home." The heavens once declared his glory, but tonight, the table declares his goodness, and the soul, tasting, finally believes. The road behind him is long, a ribbon of dust and memory that winds through heat and shadow, through days that asked more than his body could give, and nights that asked more than his heart could answer. He feels the ache of distance in his calves, the small tremor in his hands when he reaches for the doorway, the weight that settles between his shoulder blades when he tries to breathe a little deeper. Hunger has many shapes, and tonight he carries them all. The hollow in the stomach, the dryness at the back of the throat, the quiet emptiness that curls like smoke beneath the ribs, the longing that has no name, only ache, only silence. He stands in the threshold of the small house, the glow of lamplight spilling around his feet like a welcome he did not dare hope for. Behind him the hillside cools in the afterglow of evening. A few last voices fade in the lane. A dog settles near a gate with a heavy sigh, and the first shy stars test the edges of the sky. The world is growing gentle, and still the hunger remains. He has known other tables, some loud with laughter, some crowded with talk, some empty and cold. He has known other roads, some easy and bright, some tangled with thorn, some that seemed to lead in circles until he questioned whether there was a path at all. But this night is different. This house is different. This hunger feels not like punishment, but like invitation, as though emptiness itself has become a door, and on the other side of that door waits kindness. He steps forward, slowly, as if each pace were a prayer. The scent of bread is stronger here, warm, round, patient. It fills the room without hurrying. Honey glows within its clay bowl, firelight pooling on the surface like a small sunrise that never burns, only blesses. A clay cup stands ready, the water within it still enough to hold the lamp's reflection. As if it too is listening, he lowers himself to the bench, the wood familiar beneath his palms, the table cool and steady under his forearms. He does not rush. He does not grab. He does not try to fill the ache by force. He waits. And in the waiting, the ache becomes honest. The emptiness becomes clear. He is hungry for bread. Yes. But he is also hungry for gentleness. For a place where he does not have to be strong. For a voice that does not ask for anything in return. Breathe in. Slow and deep. Let the air move like water through the chest. Breathe out. And feel the knots of the day loosen. One by one. Like ropes slipped from tired hands. Again. A smaller breath. Softer now. Like a child's breath at the edge of sleep. Let everything inside you admit what it needs. And let nothing inside you be ashamed. He thinks of the verse that once sounded like poetry and now sounds like bread. Oh! Taste and see that the Lord is good. He rolls the words across his tongue without speaking, and they settle in his chest like embers. Quiet. Warm. Alive. Taste. Not merely learn. Not merely remember. Taste. See. Not merely hear. Not merely suppose. See. That the Lord is good. Not sometimes. Not partly. Not if he deserves it. But good as a river is good to the thirsty. Good as shade is good to the overheated. Good as sleep is good to the worn. He breaks a small piece from the loaf. Steam rising like prayer into the dim room. He watches the fibers of the crumb pull apart and then rest. He feels the heat bless his fingertips. Before he eats, he closes his eyes. Not from duty, but from reverence. The smallest gifts are the deepest teachers. And hunger is the softest catechism. He remembers the miles, the sorrows, the rooms where he could not speak the truth of his pain, the smiles he held like shields, the nights he listened for God and heard only the echo of his own breath. He remembers the fear that if he stopped striving, he would vanish. He remembers the ache that said he was too much, and the ache that said he was not enough. Both aches loud, both aches untrue. He lets them rise, and then he lets them go, like birds that never wanted a cage. He eats, slowly, deliberately, letting the first bite rest on his tongue until the flavor unfurls. Warmth spreads outward. Simple. Steady. Certain. The honey follows. A soft brightness, a sweetness that does not shout. A kindness that lingers at the edges of the mouth and then travels downward, seeping into places bread alone does not reach. He breathes, and the body remembers it is loved. He lifts the cup, and water becomes more than water. Coolness slips along the tongue, down the throat, into the lungs as if even breath could drink. For a moment he feels the surprising ache of relief, and with it the sting of quiet tears. How strange and holy that tears and honey can meet in the same mouth and not war with each other. That sorrow and sweetness can share a table and both be true. Breathe in. Receive. Breathe out. Release. He does not try to name what leaves him. He does not try to capture what enters. He simply lets the exchange happen. Emptiness handing itself to goodness. Goodness settling into emptiness until the two are no longer strangers. The fire murmurs. A log shifts. The lamp wavers. Shadows lean and return. From outside, a lull of crickets rises like a woven blanket of sound. Gentle, repetitive, faithful. The village has chosen rest, and the room has chosen welcome. And he, at last, chooses trust. He thinks of those who cannot yet taste, whose fear has sealed their jaws, whose grief has made swallowing hard. He thinks of those who are certain that nothing simple can heal them, that only grand gestures deserve belief. He blesses them in the quiet, not with speeches, but with the hope that one small bite, one small sip, one small yes, will be enough to begin. Because that is the way of goodness. It does not storm the door. It waits at the table. It does not argue. It nourishes. It does not demand confession before feeding. It feeds. And in feeding, it teaches the heart to speak again. He takes another piece of bread, smaller this time, as if learning the language of sufficiency. He lets it dissolve without hurry, noticing the way hunger returns in gentler waves now. No longer a cry, but a conversation. This is what the soul wanted all along. Not excess, not spectacle, but presence. The quiet assurance that someone is near, and that nearness is safe, and that safety tastes like bread and honey and clean water and unhurried breath. Breathe in. Let the chest widen. Breathe out. Let the day fall to your feet like an old cloak. Close the eyes for a moment. Listen to the hum inside the bones. The body saying yes. The spirit saying thank you. He looks at the place still waiting across the table. Another cup. Another plate. Another folded cloth. He understands. This goodness is never for one alone. It multiplies in the giving. It completes itself in the sharing. Tomorrow there will be room for another traveler. Another hunger. Another story that will learn the way from ache to rest. And the table will not grow tired of offering, because the host does not grow tired of loving. The night leans deeper. The lamplight gentles. His heartbeat slows to the pace of peace. He no longer feels that sharp emptiness that drove him through the lanes. In its place is a spacious quiet. A fullness that does not press. A contentment that rests like a hand upon the shoulder. He is not finished eating, but he is already nourished. Not finished drinking, but already quenched. He whispers again. Barely a breath. Taste and see. The words are smile in the dark. A blessing over the room. A promise spoken into his own chest. He does not need to see far ahead. He only needs to taste what is given now. And what is given now is good. Breathe in goodness. Breathe out fear. Let the simplest gifts become the deepest prayer. Let the quiet table become the wide sanctuary. The road outside will still be there tomorrow. But tonight the road can rest. The hunger within has learned a softer name. It is called longing. And longing has met its answer. The light in the small home flickers gently. Shadows move like breathing across the walls. The air hums with a warmth that feels alive. It is the warmth that comes not from fire alone, but from welcome, from presence, from love that asks for nothing in return. The traveler sits quietly at the table, his hunger soothed, his spirit slow and calm. And though he sees no one else in the room, he feels it, that subtle awareness that he is not alone, that someone, somewhere, sees him, knows him, waits for him. He glances toward the far side of the table. The other place remains set, a folded cloth, a second cup, an unbroken piece of bread. The lamp's glow gathers there as if drawn toward an unseen figure. And in the hush, he senses it, the presence of the host. Not the host of a crowded feast. Not a grand ruler with silver and song. But a quiet host. Humble. Near. One whose hands once shaped the stars and still know how to break bread gently. One whose voice could still storms, yet chooses to whisper peace instead. Breathe in and feel that nearness. Breathe out and let every guarded place inside you soften. This is the God who does not stand at a distance waiting for you to arrive. This is the God who meets you where you are, who draws a chair beside your weariness, and says, "Rest now. Eat. I am here." He looks again at the bread. He had thought it ordinary before, but now, under the lamp's golden light, it glows faintly, as if it remembers the hands that formed it, hands that know both the dust of the earth and the texture of tears, hands that give without counting, hold without crushing, heal without noise. He feels something stir in his chest. A slow ache that is not pain, but recognition. It is the memory of being loved before he could earn it. The memory of being found before he knew he was lost. The fire pops softly. A tiny ember drifts upward, glowing for a moment before fading into the dark. And for an instant, he imagines that ember carrying his gratitude upward, small, but enough. He whispers into the quiet, "Thank you," and though no sound answers, peace fills the space where silence was. He knows that is answer enough. The host is kind, not with the kindness that flatters, but the kindness that restores. A kindness that listens without interruption, that sees without judgment, that forgives before asked. Breathe in that kindness. Breathe out the memory of fear. The fear that says you must be perfect to be welcome. The fear that whispers love has conditions. Let those lies slip from your shoulders like an old cloak. For the host has already set the table, already called you home, already prepared a place for your tired heart. He looks around the small room. Every corner glows with simplicity: clay bowls, linen folded neatly, the faint scent of herbs drying near the fire. No excess, no display, yet everything feels abundant, complete. The beauty of enough, the holiness of simple things done with love. He closes his eyes for a moment, and in that stillness, he feels the host beside him. Not seen, not heard, but deeply known. He imagines a hand resting lightly on his shoulder, the weight gentle, reassuring, steady, and in that touch, his soul exhales. For so long he has tried to be strong enough, wise enough, faithful enough. And now, he learns that goodness does not demand. It offers. It meets him where his effort ends, and fills the space with grace. Breathe in, grace. Breathe out, striving. Let stillness teach you that love was never about performance, that God's kindness is not earned, it is experienced. The traveler opens his eyes. The room looks the same, and yet different, because he now sees through the quiet glow of belonging. He realizes the host had been here all along, in the bread, in the light, in the silence between his breaths. He leans back, his shoulders lighter, his pulse slow. Peace hums through his bones like music too soft for words. He no longer hungers for proof. He only hungers for more of this presence that satisfies without reason. The heavens may declare God's glory, but the humble home declares his heart. And tonight, the traveler has found both. The firelight dances, slow and soft, gold rippling through the quiet like liquid grace. The traveler sits still, one hand resting upon the table, the other around the cup. He feels the warmth of the bread still in his stomach, a comfort deeper than hunger could name. And yet, there is more than fullness now. There is calm. The meal lingers within him, not just in body, but in soul. Each bite seems to have reached further than flesh. It has traveled to the unseen places, to worry, to weariness, to the ache that language never quite touches. It is as though peace itself has found a way to enter through nourishment, as though the act of tasting kindness has opened a door inside his heart. He breathes deeply, slowly. The air carries the scent of wood smoke, honey, and something older, something like memory. He cannot tell if it comes from the fire or from God, but he knows it feels like home. Breathe in, the warmth that fills the chest. Breathe out the noise that no longer serves you. The quiet stretches gently until even the fire seems to listen. The host is unseen but near. Presence hums through the air. Not loud, not heavy, simply real. And with every breath, the traveler begins to realize that this is what the psalm meant. Not a command to believe, but an invitation to experience. Taste, see, not study, not analyze, just be. He looks at the last piece of bread on the plate. Its crust golden, the inside soft and steaming. He breaks it slowly, feeling the tender texture beneath his fingers. He takes one piece, sets the other aside. There is enough, always enough. He eats, and as he chews, his thoughts begin to quiet even more. He realizes that for most of his life, he has lived in noise. Noise of tasks and time. Noise of worry and want. But in this moment, with bread and stillness, something deeper speaks. It says, peace does not shout. It settles. He sips the water again. The cup cool against his palms. The taste is simple, pure, but it fills him with a strange lightness. The kind of refreshment that doesn't fade when the cup is empty. The kind that lingers in spirit long after the drink is gone. He closes his eyes. Images rise in the dark, rivers, hills, sunlight over wheat fields, faces of people who had shown kindness without reason, moments of laughter shared without fear. He realizes that each one of these memories was another way God had been feeding him all along. Goodness comes in many forms. Bread for the body, peace for the heart. Breathe in the memory of kindness. Breathe out the burden of self-sufficiency. For even strength, when held too tightly, becomes hunger. But trust satisfies. He feels the rhythm of his pulse slow, the ache in his shoulders ease. He leans back slightly, looking toward the doorway where the night air drifts in. The stars beyond seem to pulse like embers in a great unseen fire. He wonders if heaven itself breathes in rhythm with this small room. He smiles softly. Perhaps God's goodness is not something grand that descends from above. Perhaps it is something near, woven through ordinary things, waiting to be noticed. The curve of light in a cup, the crackle of firewood, the taste of honey on a tired tongue, each one saying, quietly, you are cared for, you are remembered. The table creaks gently as he shifts. He places his hand over his heart and feels the slow, steady beat. The same rhythm that moves through the rivers, through the oceans, through the stars. It is all one song, one movement of grace through creation. He whispers, peace for the heart, bread. For the body, the words drift upward, not as a petition, but as thanks. For he realizes now, every need he brought to this place has already been met. Not solved, but soothed. Not erased, but embraced. Breathe in, and let the sweetness of that truth fill your lungs. Breathe out, and let the last of the restlessness fall away. Peace has weight, and yet it feels light. It settles upon him now like a shawl woven from silence and love. He sits there a while longer, the lamplight low, his heart steady, and in that soft quiet, he knows this is not the end of the meal. It is the beginning of wholeness. The first taste of what it means to live as one who has been fed by love itself. The heavens declare his glory. The bread declares his provision. And the heart declares, "It is well." The room glows dim now. The fire has softened into embers. The lamp still burns. But lo, the flame rising and falling in rhythm with the air. Outside, crickets begin their song. Steady, patient, endless as the stars. The traveler sits with hands folded loosely before him. He has eaten. He has drunk. He has rested. And now, what remains is not hunger, but a deeper question. The words of the psalm linger in his thoughts. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. He whispers them again, slow and quiet, feeling the way they move through the air like soft bells in the distance. Taste, see, take refuge. Each word an invitation, each one a promise. He understands something new. That tasting God's goodness is more than receiving his gifts. It is trusting his heart. Even when the feast is over, even when the table grows bare, it is believing that goodness remains. Even when sweetness fades from the tongue, breathe in that thought. Breathe out the fear of tomorrow. For peace does not depend on full cupboards. It depends on a faithful God. He looks around the small room, so simple, so still. He realizes that trust is much like this place. Not loud, not crowded, just quietly steadfast. A shelter that exists even in silence. He leans back. The chair creaks softly beneath him. He looks toward the fire. A single orange ember glows faintly among the ashes. It does not blaze, yet it burns. He knows now that this, too, is the image of trust. The steady flame that survives when passion wanes. The warmth that endures even when wind presses against it. Trust, he thinks, is the art of remembering light when the night returns. It is the knowing that the same God who filled your cup once will fill it again. That the same hand that broke the bread still feeds your spirit. that the same voice that whispered "Come and rest" still calls you by name. He closes his eyes. Memories drift through him. Moments when fear ruled. When anxiety stole sleep. When disappointment built walls around his hope. And yet, even then, goodness found him. Sometimes through laughter. Sometimes through silence. Sometimes through tears that cleansed more than they hurt. Breathe in the memory of rescue. Breathe out the thought that you must protect yourself from love. For love already surrounds you. It has always surrounded you. He opens his eyes again. The room feels wider now, as if the walls have exhaled with him. He realizes that trust makes space. It loosens the soul's grip on control, allowing peace to enter. He reaches for the last crumb of bread on the plate. It's cool now, firm to the touch. He smiles as he eats it, letting it dissolve slowly. Even the last taste carries meaning. For trust is like this. It finds sweetness even in what is small, even in what remains. The host is still unseen, but not absent. The traveler can sense him everywhere now, in the scent of smoke, the hum of crickets, the glow on the wall. And he knows that this is what refuge feels like. Not a hiding place, but a resting place. Not escape, but assurance. He leans forward slightly, whispering into the still air, "I trust you, even when I do not understand you. I trust you, even when my hands are empty. I trust you, because you are good." The words come easily, not as a vow to keep, but as truth to live. The ember in the fire flickers, as though stirred by unseen breath. It glows brighter, warmer, alive again. And the traveler understands. Trust rekindles the flame. It is faith made visible, in small steady light that refuses to die. Breathe in the warmth of that light. Breathe out the chill of doubt. Let faith feel simple again. Let it be as easy as breathing, as natural as hunger, as sweet as honey. He sits quietly a while longer. The night outside deepens. The sounds of the village fade. The whole world seems to rest in the same gentle rhythm. And he knows he can rest too. For the one who prepared the table will not forget him when it is cleared. The same hand that fed him tonight will guide him tomorrow. And that truth tastes good. The heavens declare his glory. The bread declares his goodness. And trust declares his nearness. The night deepens around the little home. The moon has climbed high, and the air glows with that silver quiet only found in late hours. The traveler remains at the table, his hands now resting easily in his lap, his heartbeat steady. He is full. But it is not the kind of fullness that makes the body heavy. It is the kind that makes the soul light. He feels peace spreading through him like warmth through water, reaching every place that once felt empty, every corner that once held tension. And he realizes, this is what goodness does. It fills gently, never forcing, never rushing. It seeps into the cracks like morning light through a half-open window. Slowly, beautifully, completely. Breathe in the scent of night. Breathe out the ache of needing more. Let satisfaction be holy. Let quiet joy be enough. He glances toward the window. Beyond the glass, the world rests. The trees sway softly in the wind, their leaves glimmering like faint coins under the moon. Somewhere, water trickles over stone. The steady hum of life that never truly stops. All creation seems to agree with him, all of it at peace. All of it content to simply be. He smiles, remembering how his life has often been marked by hunger, not for food, but for meaning, for reassurance, for belonging. And now, he sees that all those hungers were pointing toward the same source. Not success, not certainty, but goodness. The kind that fills quietly. The kind that whispers, "You are already home." He closes his eyes and listens. Inside his chest, the rhythm of breath joins the rhythm of the crickets, the low murmur of the night wind, the slow crackle of the cooling fire. Each sound fits perfectly together, no rush, no imbalance, no striving. He realizes, this is what God's goodness feels like when received. Harmony. He had imagined goodness as abundance, overflowing harvests. Laughter in abundance. Answers clear as light. But now he knows. Goodness is presence. It is the nearness that turns ordinary things sacred. A sip of water that feels like grace. A small loaf that feels like blessing. A moment of stillness that feels like love. Breathe in and feel that presence move through your body. Breathe out and let gratitude follow behind it. For gratitude and goodness walk hand in hand. And where one goes, the other is never far. He opens his eyes again. The ember in the fire has dimmed now. Only a faint red heartbeat remains within the ash. But it is enough. Enough to keep the warmth alive. Enough to hold the memory of light. And he thinks, so it is with faith. Even the smallest ember of trust glows with God's goodness. He stands slowly, stretching his arms toward the low ceiling, feeling the strength of the moment move through his limbs. There is no fatigue now, only calm energy. He walks to the window and looks out at the sleeping world. Everything bathed in moonlight, every shadow gentle, the village quiet, the hills silvered with dew. He presses a hand against the wooden frame. And as he looks outward, he realizes how much beauty he has overlooked before. How many nights he hurried through without seeing. How many small gifts waited silently for his attention. Bread on a stranger's table. Light in a tired sky. The sound of his own breathing. Each one a sermon in simplicity. Each one a reminder that the Lord is good. He whispers softly, "You fill all things," and as the words leave his lips, they seem to echo across the stillness. Not loudly, but surely, as if the hills themselves repeat them back. You fill all things. He smiles again. For the first time in memory, he feels no need to ask, no urge to reach, no pull to fix or prove. He is content, completely, quietly, wonderfully content. Breathe in, fullness. Breathe out, rest. Let the air carry peace through you like warm light in cool water. Let goodness fill the small spaces between your thoughts, until there is nothing left but calm. He steps back from the window, returns to the table, and sits again. The bread is nearly gone, the honey half empty. Yet he feels rich beyond measure, for the truth that fills him now cannot be seen, cannot be spent, cannot be taken away. The heavens declare his glory, the earth hums with his kindness, and the soul, at peace and satisfied, quietly declares, "The Lord is good, always good." The night has grown deep and silver. Stillness drapes the little home like a blanket. The air hums with the faint echo of peace. Outside, the moon has reached its full height, spilling gentle light across the doorway and through the window. Inside, the traveler sits quietly, his soul calm, his mind unhurried. He feels it, that tender sense of being watched, not by the world, not by judgment, but by love itself. It is not the heavy gaze of scrutiny. It is the soft gaze of care. He remembers the words from the psalm. The eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are open to their cry. He whispers them slowly, letting each phrase settle like warm oil over the heart. The eyes of the Lord. He imagines them, not stern or distant, but kind, patient, light-filled, eyes that see further than shame, deeper than failure, eyes that saw him long before he knew he was worth seeing. Breathe in that awareness. Breathe out the habit of hiding. For what love sees, it does not condemn, it cherishes. He lifts his face toward the glow of the window. The moonlight touches his skin like a cool hand, and he wonders if light itself might be the way God looks upon the world. Softly, gently, persistently, never harsh, never demanding, simply illuminating. He closes his eyes, Behind the lids he can still feel that gaze, like warmth behind closed curtains. He thinks of all the times he felt unseen, overlooked, forgotten. The moments when silence felt like abandonment. But now, in this quiet hour, he realizes he was never unseen. Even in the loneliest paths, those eyes followed, not to judge, but to guide. The eyes of the Lord, always upon, not watching for mistakes, but watching for pain, not counting sins, but counting tears. Every ache, every cry, every weary breath, all noticed, all remembered. He exhales softly, for there is deep rest in being known. No need to pretend, no need to perform, just the freedom to exist, to be seen and still loved. Breathe in, peace. Breathe out, pretending. Let yourself be held by the gaze that never turns away. He glances at the cup before him. The water within it reflects the flickering light, trembling slightly, alive. He watches it and realizes he too has trembled before God's gaze. But the trembling is not fear. It is awe. The kind of awe that humbles, that softens, that heals. He looks upward again. The window now open to the wide sky. Clouds drift slowly across the moon. Their movement slow, silent, sure. He feels the gaze of heaven upon him even now. Not above him, but around him, within him, through him. The eyes that see every star also see every breath he takes. He smiles. The realization so simple, so holy, that he has been seen in both his wandering and his rest, in his loud laughter and his quiet despair. And through it all, those eyes have never looked away. He whispers, "You see me," and the air seems to answer, in its own wordless way. Always. The thought alone brings tears, but they are soft tears, healing tears. He wipes them with the back of his hand and feels no shame, for even tears are a language God understands. He thinks of those still searching for this comfort, those who believe they have been forgotten. And he knows this same gaze follows them too. The same light will find them, gently, patiently, at the right time. Breathe in, gratitude. Breathe out, fear. Let the thought of divine attention soothe the tired corners of your heart. You have never gone unseen. Not even once. The fire fades to a low red glow. The shadows deepen. The silence sweetens. He feels that steady warmth of being watched over, cared for, understood. And for the first time in years, he rests without guard. For if the eyes of the Lord are upon him, then he is safe. The heavens declare His glory. The earth reflects His beauty, and the eyes of the Lord declare His love. The night grows quieter still. The fire rests in its final glow, a small red heart pulsing softly in the dark. The wind outside hums low through the trees, the sound of breath upon branches, like the sigh of the world settling into peace. Inside, the traveler sits by the window, eyes half closed, his thoughts drifting like mist through memory. He remembers the cry, the one that once rose from his chest when pain had no words, when nights stretched long and answers never came. That cry was not loud, but it was deep, and in the echo of that cry, he had learned something sacred, that silence does not mean absence. He whispers the verse into the air. The Lord hears the cry of the righteous, and delivers them from all their troubles. He repeats it, slower this time. The Lord hears. The Lord delivers. Each word settles in his bones like warmth after cold. Breathe in that truth. Breathe out the ache of old unanswered prayers. For even the prayers that seemed to fade into the night were gathered, kept, remembered. None were lost. None were wasted. He closes his eyes, and in that stillness, the memories begin to soften. He sees himself younger, standing on a path of dust and confusion, his voice trembling with frustration, fear, loneliness. He had cried out for help, not knowing if anyone heard. But now, looking back from this gentle present, he sees it, that help was always near. It came quietly, through moments he did not recognize then. A stranger's kindness, a door left open, a hand that steadied him when he stumbled. These were not accidents. They were answers. Not the loud miracles he once expected, but soft rescues wrapped in everyday light. He exhales, slowly, his body remembering that it no longer needs to hold the tension of those years. He breathes again, deeper, freer. The pain that once defined him now feels distant, not forgotten, but transformed, as though sorrow itself has become a teacher, guiding him toward gratitude. He looks toward the night sky beyond the window. The stars shimmer faintly through thin clouds. He thinks, perhaps every star is a prayer once cried, now shining in answered form. Each light, a memory of when God listened, when help came quietly, faithfully, just in time. Breathe in hope. Breathe out fear. Let the air remind you that help is as close as breath, that no distance, no silence, no night can hide you from love that listens. He feels the weight of his chest ease, and the thought comes, maybe God does not answer from the outside. Maybe the answer begins within, in the calm that follows the storm. in the strength that rises when tears have fallen, in the courage to hope again. He remembers nights when the only answer was endurance, days when deliverance did not look like escape, but like being carried. And now, in this quiet home, he understands. That too was rescue. That too was grace. He whispers, "You heard me. Even when I did not hear you." The words drift upward, merging with the faint crackle of the dying fire. And in that moment, he feels a soft warmth brush his cheek. Perhaps it's only the air moving, but his heart knows better. He bows his head, and gratitude rises within him. Not loud, not forced, but steady. A new kind of cry, not for help this time, but for thanks. Breathe in, peace. Breathe out, praise. Let gratitude settle like dew upon your heart. Cool, gentle, life-giving. The house is still, but alive. The unseen host remains, listening, loving, answering in ways too kind to measure. The traveler closes his eyes and rests in that knowing. The heavens declare his glory. The earth whispers his mercy, and the cry of the heart declares his faithfulness. The hour is late. The last trace of firelight glows faintly in the hearth. Only the soft shimmer of moonlight now keeps the room alive. Silver drifting across the walls, touching the traveler's face like a blessing. He sits quietly, listening to the rhythm of his own breath, the still pulse of the night beyond the window. There is peace here, deep and solid, the kind of peace that feels older than the earth. But beneath that peace, something else moves, gentle, unseen, alive. He remembers the next line of the psalm. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them. He says it softly, half prayer, half wonder, and as the words leave his mouth, the room seems to breathe. The shadows shift, not in threat, but in warmth. The air feels charged with quiet strength, as if love itself has taken form, surrounding, holding, guarding. He does not see wings or shining forms, but he senses presence, steady, calm, faithful. It feels like a circle drawn around him, invisible yet absolute. Breathe in, safety. Breathe out, fear. For you are never alone. Not in darkness, not in silence, not even in sleep. He thinks of the many nights he walked roads alone, the narrow paths where only moonlight kept him company, the long journeys when danger waited beyond sight, and the heart beat too loud in the chest. And yet, through it all, he survived. Something unseen had always gone before him, beside him, behind him. He remembers a storm once. Wind tearing through the trees. Rain drumming the earth. The path turning to mud. He had fallen. Scraped. Lost his bearings. But when he finally reached shelter, there had been a light waiting in the window. A hand ready with water. And a voice saying, "You're safe now." Perhaps that, too, was the angel encamped around him. Breathe in memory. Breathe out gratitude. The thought alone brings a soft smile to his lips. The night hums. A low sound, perhaps the wind brushing against the doorframe. Or perhaps something more. He does not question it. Instead, he closes his eyes and allows the feeling of nearness to deepen. It is not frightening. It is holy. The air is full of presence. The way a mother's arms are full of comfort. He can almost feel it, that unseen company that walks through life's valleys. The angels that move quietly between God's word and human breath. Messengers of peace. Defenders of the soul. They do not boast. They do not speak. They simply stay. The Psalm's words echo again. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him. He lingers on that word, encamps. It does not say visits or passes by. It means stays, dwells, guards through the night. It means the campfire burns quietly beside your own. Even when you think you are alone, he exhales, long and deep. For so many years he feared the dark, feared what might move within it, what might wait beyond sight. But now he understands. Even in darkness, light keeps watch. Even in silence, angels sing. He tilts his head upward, gazing at the ceiling beams that stretch like old branches above him. The light from the window shifts slightly. For a moment, it almost looks like movement. And deep within, he knows. He is surrounded by goodness, by strength unseen but real as breath. Breathe in protection. Breathe out tension. Let your body rest, knowing that the unseen watches kindly over you. Every sigh you make, every turn in sleep, already known, already guarded. He whispers softly, "Thank you for your watch, for your nearness, for the presence I cannot see but feel." His voice fades into the hush of night. But in that hush, he senses an answer, not in sound, but in peace. Peace that holds him like arms. Peace that wraps around like a cloak. He rests his head on folded arms, eyes closing, breath slow. The night presses in, not as darkness, but as safety. And though his eyes grow heavy, his spirit remains awake in gratitude. He knows now, even when he sleeps, heaven keeps vigil. The heavens declare his glory. The angels declare his faithfulness. And the soul, wrapped in stillness, declares his peace. The first whisper of dawn is still far away. The night rests deep and still. The stars shimmer quietly above the sleeping village. Inside the small home, the traveler remains awake, not restless, but aware. Aware of peace, aware of presence, aware of love that fills the air like unseen light. He sits by the table once more, fingers tracing the grain of the wood. Each line, each groove, feels alive with memory. The bread now gone, the honey dish empty, yet the warmth of the meal lingers, not on his tongue, but in his heart. He recalls another verse from the psalm: "Keep your tongue from evil, and your lips from speaking deceit. Depart from evil and do good. Seek peace and pursue it." The words arrive softly, not as command, but as guidance. They are not heavy with law. They are light with love. He understands now that those who have tasted goodness begin to live differently. When the heart has known gentleness, it can no longer feed harshness. When the soul has rested in peace, it cannot help but offer peace in return. For goodness once received naturally becomes goodness shared. Breathe in that thought. Breathe out the old patterns of striving. Let kindness become the breath itself. Gentle, rhythmic, easy. He remembers times when his words had wounded, times when fear turned his voice sharp, when pride built walls, when anger spoke before grace could answer. Those moments rise in memory, not to accuse, but to be seen and healed. For the same God who feeds the hungry also teaches the full how to give. He lifts his eyes toward the window. The moonlight has softened now, clouds drifting slow across its face. The light plays along his hands, and for a moment, he feels as though that light is alive, reaching toward him, forgiving him, renewing him. He whispers quietly, "I want to speak peace, the way you speak peace to me," and the air seems to agree. The breeze sighs gently against the door. The sound a soft amen. Breathe in peace. Breathe out resentment. Let mercy flow through you like water through stone, reshaping, refining, renewing. He thinks of all who have hurt him, all whose names still echo faintly in his mind. He does not feel anger now, only softness. For how can one who has eaten honey still crave bitterness? How can one who has been sheltered still wish another to stand in the storm? He folds his hands together, not in duty, but in release. He speaks the names of those who once caused pain, slowly, reverently, and as each name passes his lips, he imagines placing it into the hands of God, hands that know how to hold what the heart cannot carry. The warmth that fills him now is different. It is not the warmth of food or fire, but of forgiveness. The realization that goodness multiplies when it is given away. That peace grows when it is pursued. He breathes again. The air feels cleaner, lighter, freer. Even the silence seems brighter now, like dawn waiting just beyond the horizon. He smiles. This, he thinks, is what it means to be a child of light. Not to shine perfectly, but to reflect faithfully. To let every action, every word, every small kindness become a mirror of divine care. He looks again at the cup on the table. He sees his reflection in the water's surface, faint, shimmering, alive, and behind it, the reflection of the lamp, still burning softly. Both lights together, the small and the great. And he understands. Every spark of goodness in him is drawn from the eternal flame of the one who is good. Breathe in that connection. Breathe out comparison. For light is not measured. It is shared. And in this sharing, heaven touches earth again. He whispers one more line. Seek peace. And pursue it. The words hum in his chest. Steady and sure. They are not just instruction. They are invitation. A daily rhythm. A way of walking through the world. The fire has faded, but the room glows with unseen light. The traveler feels no loneliness now, only belonging. For to live in goodness is to live in God, and to live in God is to carry his light wherever one goes. The heavens declare his glory. The heart declares his peace. And the children of light declare his goodness to the world. The night is slowly loosening its hold. The darkness softens, and a faint blue begins to bloom along the edges of the sky. It is the hour just before dawn, the world between sleeping and waking, when the heart is most honest and the soul most open. The traveler remains seated by the small table. The lamp still burns beside him, its flame steady, small, unwavering. He watches it quietly, how it sways but never falters. And he thinks, perhaps that is what faith looks like. Not an absence of movement, but a flame that endures. Even when wind passes through, he whispers softly, I sought the Lord, and he heard me, and delivered me from all my fears. The words float through the still room, landing gently on the air like feathers. They do not rush. They do not demand. They simply are. Truth resting in the quiet. He remembers the fears that once ruled his days. The fear of lack, of failure, of not being enough. The fear of loss, of time, of tomorrow. Each one a shadow that stretched long over his thoughts. Each one whispering that safety was something he must create for himself. But now, sitting here, his hands open, his heart slow and steady, he sees it differently. Fear was never something he needed to conquer, only something he needed to release. It was not the absence of courage that bound him. It was the absence of trust. And trust, he realizes, is the quiet courage that love teaches. Breathe in, trust. Breathe out, fear. Let the air itself remind you that release is holy. That peace begins with exhale. He lifts his gaze toward the small window. The moon has lowered, and the first thread of dawn has begun to pull itself across the horizon. Soft gold merging with pale violet. A promise that the long night has ended. He smiles, because it always does. Light always returns, whether or not we believe it will. He leans back, eyes half closed. He feels the weight of past fears begin to fade. He remembers how many times fear told him to run, when love asked him to stay. How many times fear told him to fight, when grace invited him to rest. How many times fear told him he was alone, when heaven itself surrounded him unseen. Breathe in, courage. Breathe out, old stories. The stories that began in panic, but no longer belong in peace. He glances toward the empty bowl on the table, where honey once glowed. Only traces remain, golden streaks along the clay. He runs his finger along the rim, and tastes what's left. Sweetness still clings, faint, but real. And he realizes, that is how goodness works. It lingers, even after seasons of abundance end. He thinks of the verse again, he delivered me from all my fears. Delivered, not by removing the world's danger, but by calming the soul within it. The same storms still pass, but their power changes. For the one held by peace no longer fears the wind. He looks to the fire, now only glowing ash. No flame, no sound, yet warmth remains. It hums quietly in the hearth, the memory of light. And he knows, this too is grace. That what God begins, he does not abandon. Even when we see no flame, his warmth continues to hold us. Breathe in, safety. Breathe out, surrender. Let the heart unclench. Let the shoulders drop. Let the soul rest in the goodness that asks nothing but trust. He smiles faintly. The room seems wider now, as if fear itself had once shrunk it. But freedom expands everything it touches. He realizes, the world outside his door has not changed, but he has. And when the heart changes, every horizon looks new. He whispers, fear may visit, but it no longer stays, and the light in the window seems to grow brighter, as if dawn itself answers, yes, that is freedom. He breathes deeply once more. The scent of dew drifts through the cracks. Clean, cool, new. He feels the calm of the earth rising with the morning. And he knows. This is what it means to live delivered, not untouched by fear, but untouched by its rule. The heavens declare his glory. The morning declares his faithfulness. And the soul, at peace, declares his freedom. The first light of dawn touches the edge of the window, soft gold slipping quietly into the room. It spills across the table, catches the rim of the empty cup, glows upon the traveler's hands. And in that glow, the air itself feels holy. Gentle warmth, faint birdsong, the hum of morning's promise. He closes his eyes. The psalm's next words drift through his mind like a familiar melody. The Lord is near to the broken-hearted, and saves those who are crushed in spirit. He whispers it once, then again, slower, softer. The sound of it feels like balm on an old wound. He breathes deeply, and with every inhale, he feels that nearness move closer, not as wind, not as voice, but as presence. The kind of presence that fills silence without breaking it. The kind that doesn't need to say I'm here, because the heart already knows. Breathe in, nearness. Breathe out, distance. Let love come close, and do not resist. He has walked long roads. He has known loneliness that stretches for miles. He has prayed in empty rooms, cried into blankets, whispered questions into the dark that only his heartbeat answered. But this moment feels different. The ache is gone, replaced by stillness. And he realizes God was never far, only waiting for his heart to be still enough to feel. The morning grows brighter. Light brushes over the walls like gentle hands. He can see dust floating in the beams, tiny motes glowing like suspended stars. He watches them move, slow and calm. And he thinks, perhaps this is what the unseen looks like, ordinary things lit by divine attention. He rests his palms flat upon the table, the wood warm beneath his skin. He whispers quietly, "You were here all along." The words fall into the room like confession, like relief. And the silence that follows does not feel empty. It feels full. Breathe in, grace. Breathe out, guilt. You do not have to search for God. He has already found you. He remembers the night before, how he sat beneath the stars, how fear and weariness had clouded his sight. But now, with the dawn, he understands. Even when he felt alone, there had been company, the quiet company of love that never left. He imagines those same unseen hands that fed him, now resting gently over his shoulders. He feels warmth rise, like sunlight on skin. It reaches through him, through the bones, through the breath, until even his heartbeat hums peace. He thinks of others who still wander through their own nights, those who cry in silence, believing no one hears, and he wishes, with all his being, that they might know what he knows now, that the same nearness surrounding him surrounds them too, that divine love has no distance, no boundary, no locked door it cannot pass through. He lifts his eyes again. Outside the window, the sky ripens from pale blue to rose. A bird sings, one pure note, clear, unwavering. The sound breaks the silence, but not the peace. It is as if creation itself cannot hold back its joy, as if even the smallest life knows the nearness of its maker. He smiles. This is what it means to be saved. He thinks, not lifted from the world, but held within it, not pulled away from pain, but met inside it, to be seen, comforted, known. Breathe in, presence. Breathe out, worry. Let the space around you become sanctuary. Let the ground beneath you feel sacred again. The traveler rises slowly from his chair. He stretches his arms, the light bathing him in soft warmth. He feels new, like the morning itself. He walks to the doorway, places a hand upon its frame, and whispers once more, "The Lord is near." The words taste simple, but they hold eternity inside them. They are the truth that turns every place holy, every moment safe, every breath a prayer. The heavens declare His glory, the dawn declares His mercy, and the nearness of God declares His love. The morning light is fuller now, soft gold spreading across the hills beyond the window. Birdsong ripples through the air, gentle, unhurried.
Pure.
The traveler stands at the doorway, the first warmth of day brushing against his face. He breathes deeply, and the world seems to breathe with him. He whispers another verse from memory. Many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers him out of them all. He lets the words rest in the air, unforced, steady, timeless. He knows them well, they are not new. But this morning, they sound different. Less like warning, more like comfort. He steps outside. The ground cool beneath his feet. The scent of wet grass rising in the light. The village is still quiet. Smoke just beginning to curl from distant chimneys. The world has begun again. Slowly, faithfully, just as it always does. And he feels gratitude bloom quietly inside him, not for a life without pain, but for the one who walks through it with him. He looks toward the hills. They glow under the sun, yet shadows still stretch between them. And he realizes, life is much the same. Light and shadow existing together. one revealing the other. Both needed to make the landscape whole. Breathe in the warmth of the sun. Breathe out the weight of yesterday. Let both shadow and light have their place. For even affliction can become holy when seen through grace. He has known afflictions, nights of confusion, days of loss, hours that stretched like wilderness without map or end. He remembers the taste of tears that refused to dry. He remembers praying and hearing nothing, walking and finding no door open, waiting and seeing no sign. But as he stands here now, washed in morning light, he understands what he could not then. That deliverance is not always sudden, not always loud. Sometimes it comes like dawn, quiet, patient, certain. While the world still sleeps, light begins to move, almost unseen, until everything is changed. He kneels, hands touching the damp earth. He feels its coolness, the texture of soil between his fingers. And he knows, even the ground bears scars. But life grows from those scars. Every seed must break before it blooms. Every heart must soften before it heals. He whispers, "Many are the afflictions," then pauses, letting the truth linger. But the Lord delivers him out of them all. All. Not some. Not most. All. And though the word is small, it holds an ocean of mercy. Breathe in deliverance. Breathe out despair. Let the air itself carry hope through the body. Let faith rise like sunlight within the soul. He looks toward the path that leads beyond the village. The same path he once traveled wearily in the dark. Now it shines beneath the morning light, the stones glimmering like small blessings laid in a row. Every hardship, every sorrow, every unanswered prayer, each one now part of the road that led him here. He smiles faintly. Pain once blinded him, but now it teaches him to see. For how could he have known light's beauty if he had never walked through night? How could he have understood deliverance if he had never been in need? He stands slowly, the warmth of the sun now upon his face, the shadows behind him long but fading. And he realizes, deliverance does not mean escape from the world. It means transformation within it. The same storms that once broke him now make him tender, wise, kind. Breathe in renewal. Breathe out remembrance. Do not wish away the affliction. Let it teach. Let it refine. Let it reveal the mercy already moving through it. He looks again toward the rising light and speaks softly. You have never failed me. Even when I did not see you, you were there. You were always there. The breeze moves through the trees in answer, leaves shimmering as though nodding in agreement. He feels peace fill the space where pain once lived. Not because affliction is forgotten, but because it is redeemed. What once hurt now humbles. What once frightened now feeds faith. The heavens declare His glory. The morning declares His mercy. And even affliction declares His deliverance. The sun has risen, soft gold spilling over the hillside. The sky wide and full of calm light. The air is warm now, carrying the scent of wild thyme and dew. The traveler sits beneath a small fig tree just outside the home. The same home that welcomed him through the night. He runs his hand over the bark, rough but alive, and listens to the slow hum of morning life around him. He whispers the next verse softly, letting it move through the stillness. He protects all his bones. Not one of them is broken. The words are simple, but they settle deep. He repeats them again, feeling the truth ripple through his chest. Not one is broken. He leans back against the trunk, eyes half closed. He thinks about how fragile life has felt, how easily one moment can change everything, how pain can fracture the heart, how grief can weaken the spirit. And yet, somehow, beneath it all, something remains whole, a center that never shatters, no matter what breaks around it. Breathe in strength. Breathe out the memory of collapse. For you are held together by more than your will. He remembers the long road that brought him here. The hunger, the tears, the nights that stretched too far. He remembers feeling undone. But now, with sunlight warming his face, he understands. He was never truly broken, only bent toward healing. He touches his chest, feeling the steady rhythm beneath his palm. The heart still beats, faithful, unbroken, and perhaps that is the miracle. Not that we escape pain, but that we survive it. That even after storms, even after loss, something within us remains untouched, whole, divine. He looks up into the branches of the fig tree. A small bird hops between the leaves, unafraid, light catching on its feathers. The branch bends beneath its weight, but does not break. And he smiles. Yes, this is how God protects. Not by keeping us from all weight, but by making us strong enough to bear it. Breathe in resilience. Breathe out regret. Let every scar remind you not of what hurt, but of what healed. He closes his eyes and feels the sunlight seep through his skin. The warmth moves slowly, tenderly, deeper than muscle, deeper than bone. It feels as if light itself is mending him, filling every old crack with grace, every hidden wound with peace. He thinks of how the psalm foreshadows the promise of Christ, the one who bore pain yet was not broken, the one who carried sorrow yet remained whole. Through his endurance, we learn our own. The traveler exhales. He feels the stillness of that truth settle in him. Even in suffering, God preserves what is essential, even when everything else falls apart. His presence keeps the soul intact. He whispers, "You have kept me whole when I thought I was undone," and the air seems to move in gentle reply. A quiet affirmation carried by the breeze. Breathe in wholeness. Breathe out fear. Let the body remember that it is still here, that every breath is proof of survival, every heartbeat a testimony of grace. He opens his eyes. The world looks brighter now, sharper in detail, gentler in color. The leaves above glow with sunlight, veins luminous with life. He realizes everything in creation bears the mark of endurance. The flowers that close each night still open each dawn. The tree that bends in wind still stands when calm returns. The heart that has known sorrow still finds rhythm in joy. He smiles quietly, for now he sees. The promise was never about protection from harm. It was about preservation through it. Even when the soul trembles, even when faith feels fragile, love remains unbroken. Breathe in gratitude. Breathe out surrender. Let peace move through every fiber of being. You are whole. You are held. You are healed. The heavens declare His glory. The earth declares His strength. And the unbroken heart declares His mercy. The morning ripens into gold. Sunlight spills through the fig leaves above, each leaf trembling slightly in the breeze, each shadow shaped like grace. The traveler sits still beneath the tree, hands resting loosely in his lap, eyes closed against the light. He does not pray now with requests. He simply breathes, and lets his heart whisper thank you with every beat. Gratitude rises slowly, like the warmth of the sun climbing the hills. It does not rush. It unfolds. Gentle.
Pure.
Steady. He thinks of the bread, the honey, the cup of water, of the unseen host, the quiet protection through the night, the peace that found him even in silence. Every small thing becomes a doorway into thanksgiving. Breathe in remembrance. Breathe out gratitude. Let the breath itself become a hymn. Simple, honest, whole. He remembers where he began, weary and empty, unsure and afraid. And now, sitting in morning light, he feels none of that. The ache that once filled him has turned to peace. The hunger that once drove him has turned to contentment. He realizes gratitude is not the end of the journey. It is the transformation of it. Pain becomes wisdom. Fear becomes faith. Emptiness becomes room for joy. He opens his eyes. The world glows with quiet brilliance. The dew on the grass shines like small jewels scattered by a generous hand. The air hums with life. Bees moving between blossoms. wings flashing gold in the light. Every sound, every scent, every flicker of motion seems to sing the same word: goodness. He whispers softly, "Bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth." The words feel alive again. They are no longer duty. They are delight. Each syllable carries the flavor of gratitude, the sweetness that lingers after tasting kindness. Breathe in that sweetness. Breathe out the last remnants of striving. Let contentment rest gently upon you like sunlight upon water. He looks toward the path he will soon travel again, the road winding through the fields, into the unknown. And yet, for the first time in a long time, he feels no anxiety for what lies ahead. For when one carries gratitude, even uncertainty becomes sacred ground. He closes his eyes once more. He recalls how goodness met him in small things, in bread that warmed his palms, in water that cooled his tongue, in light that returned faithfully each morning. These simple mercies are the language of heaven. God speaks not only through miracles, but through daily kindness, through breath itself. He touches the ground beside him. The soil feels warm now, alive. He runs his fingers through it, and thinks of how every harvest begins here, with earth, with patience, with faith unseen. So too, gratitude grows best in quiet hearts, in soil turned over by surrender, watered by grace. Breathe in gentleness. Breathe out joy. Let thanksgiving become your dwelling, not a moment, but a way of being. He tilts his head back, eyes open to the sky. The blue stretches endlessly above him, the kind of vastness that makes the soul expand just to match it. He smiles, because even the sky seems to mirror his heart, wide, open, light. He understands now what it means to taste and see that the Lord is good. It is not only the tasting of comfort, but the seeing of meaning. It is noticing that every breath is a gift, every sunrise a promise kept. He rises slowly to his feet, the ground solid beneath him, his shadow long and soft against the grass. He looks toward the horizon, where the sun has already begun to climb, and he whispers once more, "You have been good to me." The words drift on the wind, and the wind carries them upward. Breathe in peace. Breathe out thanksgiving. Let your heart become the altar, your breath the offering. The heavens declare his glory, the earth hums his kindness, and gratitude, quiet, full, and everlasting, declares his goodness. The warmth of the morning has softened into stillness. The traveler has walked a short distance from the fig tree, to a quiet meadow just beyond the village. The grass bends in slow waves beneath a gentle breeze, each blade glimmering in the sunlight like a small psalm of its own. The world feels hushed, alive, but unhurried. He lowers himself to the ground, the earth cool beneath his palms. He lies back, eyes open to the wide expanse of sky above, blue and endless, with clouds drifting like slow thoughts of God. He exhales, and the last fragments of striving seem to leave his body with that breath. Breathe in, stillness. Breathe out, effort. Let rest come, not as escape, but as arrival. He closes his eyes, and the warmth of the sun covers him like a soft blanket. He can hear distant sounds, the hum of bees, the faint rustle of trees, the rhythm of his own breath. It is all one symphony, one heartbeat, the harmony of creation at peace with its maker. He whispers softly, "My soul shall make its boast in the Lord. The humble shall hear and be glad." And as he speaks, the words feel like a lullaby, not only to his soul, but to the world itself. He understands now. Rest is not only the absence of labor, it is the presence of trust, the knowing that nothing depends on his striving, that all is already held, already known, already sustained. Breathe in, surrender. Breathe out, control. Let the heart unclench. Let the spirit lean into love. He remembers how long he has lived in tension, chasing peace instead of receiving it, trying to hold together what was never his to keep, trying to fix, to solve, to earn. But now, he feels peace differently, not as a goal, but as gravity, the natural pull of the soul back to the one who made it. He opens his eyes again. The clouds shift gently above him. A single bird circles high, wings stretched wide, gliding effortlessly upon invisible wind. And he smiles. That is what rest looks like. Not idle, not lifeless, but carried. Breathe in that image. Breathe out resistance. Let yourself be lifted by what holds you. He turns slightly on his side, hand resting against the grass. He feels its texture, smooth in one direction, coarse in another. It reminds him of the seasons of life. How not all are gentle, but each has purpose. And through them all, the goodness of God remains constant. He whispers, "You give rest to the weary, peace to the restless, strength to the humble." The words slip out like a prayer. Though they ask for nothing, they simply affirm what already is. He feels the rhythm of his breath slow even more. Each inhale deep, each exhale long. His body feels lighter, his mind quiet, his heart still. This is holy ground, not because of place, but because of presence. He realizes rest is not something God gives. It is something he is. And to dwell in him is to rest. To lay down in his nearness is to be made whole again. Breathe in his presence. Breathe out your burdens. Let peace find you, not because you've earned it, but because you've stopped running from it. He opens his hand, fingers spread against the earth, the soil warm now from sunlight, firm yet gentle, supporting his weight. He smiles faintly. Even the ground itself preaches the same truth. It was made to hold, to carry, to sustain. And so is grace. He closes his eyes once more. The breeze moves softly across his face. The sound of the world fades to a hum, low and eternal. He feels the nearness of God like breath upon his skin, and his heart whispers one final thought before drifting into stillness. You are my rest. The heavens declare his glory. The earth rests in his peace. And the soul, quiet and content, declares his goodness. The day deepens into soft gold. The sun now high, but the air remains calm, tender, warm in its stillness. The traveler rests beneath the open sky, eyes closed, body still, but mind awake in gentle awareness. Each breath feels sacred, a quiet exchange between heaven and earth, between creator and creation. He listens, not with his ears, but with his heart. The breeze drifts across his skin. The rhythm of his breathing joins with the whisper of the wind. There is no separation now. Only unity. Only peace. He realizes. This is what it means to dwell in the goodness of God, not to visit for a moment, but to remain. Breathe in light. Breathe out everything else. Let your breath become prayer, and your silence become worship. He remembers how restless his heart once was, how he lived as though peace had to be found somewhere far away, always reaching, always running. But now he sees. Peace was never distant, only waiting to be noticed. It was always in the breath, in the pause between thoughts, in the space between words. He opens his eyes slowly. The world glows softly, sunlight glinting on the grass, bees drifting lazily from flower to flower. The sound of life continues, yet nothing disturbs the quiet. He smiles, realizing that peace is not the absence of sound. It is the presence of harmony. He sits up, moving slowly, every motion deliberate, unhurried. He runs his fingers through the grass, feeling the earth beneath him. He inhales deeply, the air filled with the scent of blossoms and warm soil. Each breath feels like a gift, freely given, never earned. Breathe in mercy. Breathe out memory. Let go of what was, to rest in what is. He looks toward the horizon, where the hills roll softly into one another, each shape touched by light, each shadow gentle and alive. He realizes that life itself moves like this, a rhythm of rising and resting, of giving and receiving. And the soul finds peace when it learns to breathe in time with creation. He whispers quietly, "Your peace surpasses understanding." The words drift upward, not as a declaration, but as surrender. He no longer tries to define peace. He only receives it. He closes his eyes again. The sound of his breath mingles with the soft wind, the pulse in his chest steady and calm. He feels as though the world itself breathes through him, as though every inhale carries the kindness of God, and every exhale releases the weight of yesterday. Breathe in, stillness. Breathe out, self. Let every breath draw you deeper into rest. He remembers the Psalm's promise again. Taste and see that the Lord is good. And he thinks, tasting, seeing, breathing, all are ways of knowing, ways of receiving the love that sustains the universe. He smiles, because now he understands, peace is not a moment. It is a person. And that person is here, as near as breath. He leans back into the grass. The sun warms his face. The breeze cools his skin. The world holds him effortlessly. No striving. No noise. Only presence. He realizes that when the soul finally stops running, it remembers what it has always known. Breathe in, belonging. Breathe out, striving. You are home. He whispers, "The Lord has been good to me." And in the distance, a dove calls, the sound soft and low, like a song sung only for him. He smiles, eyes still closed, knowing that peace does not end when the day moves on. It remains, carried in the heart, sustained by grace. The heavens declare his glory. The wind declares his breath. And the soul, at peace, declares his goodness. The sun begins its slow descent. Shadows stretch long across the meadow. The light softens from gold to honey, from honey to amber, from amber to rest. The traveler remains in the field, still and silent, as though the world itself has paused to breathe beside him. He has said no words for some time now. There is nothing left to ask, nothing left to explain. Only quiet, only peace. He has learned that sometimes silence is the truest form of praise. Breathe in, stillness. Breathe out, thought. Let the body grow heavy, the spirit light. A small brook winds nearby, its sound faint but steady. He turns his head slightly, listening. The water moves with purpose yet without strain. It flows around stones, over roots, never fighting its way forward, only following. And he sees. That peace within is much the same. He recalls the psalm once more. I sought the Lord, and he heard me. And now, he realizes. Hearing works both ways. For the same quiet in which he was heard is the quiet where he can hear in return. Not in thunder, not in visions, but in this, the sound of running water, the breath between heartbeats, the whisper that speaks through calm. Breathe in. Listen. Breathe out. Receive. For peace is not a concept to understand. It is a rhythm to enter. He lowers his hand into the stream. Cool water wraps around his fingers. Clear and alive. It slides between his palms as though it recognizes him. He watches it move and marvels at how it flows around every obstacle without losing its direction. It bends, but it never breaks. It yields, but it never stops. He smiles faintly. That is how grace moves too. Not loud, not forceful, but sure. When the soul yields to it, life begins to flow again. He cups his hands and lifts the water toward his face. It drips from his fingers, glimmering in the late light. He drinks, slowly, feeling the coolness slide down. And it feels like prayer, simple, unspoken, complete. Breathe in. Refreshment. Breathe out. Release. Let the heart remember that rest does not need to be earned. He lies back once more, eyes tracing the soft drift of clouds above. The sky now painted in tones of rose and silver. He thinks of all the places his life has taken him. The mountains of joy, the valleys of fear, the deserts of waiting. And through it all, water has flowed unseen, the mercy of God, winding through his days, feeding him even when he did not notice. He exhales slowly. The air is cooler now, and with each breath, he feels his body sink further into the ground, not as weight, but as belonging. He is no longer a visitor here. He is part of the peace that surrounds him. He whispers, "You lead me beside still waters," and though those words belong to another psalm, they feel at home here, because peace knows no boundary between verses. It is the same presence, the same kindness, the same endless invitation to rest. The stream continues its song. The light fades gently from the hills, and the world hums with that low and ancient truth, that every soul is known, every heart is held, every life is loved. Breathe in that truth. Breathe out everything else. Let yourself be carried by what does not change. The traveler closes his eyes. The sound of water becomes the rhythm of his breathing. The world folds into quiet, and his spirit into stillness. The line between himself and creation disappears. There is no distance left, only peace. The heavens declare His glory. The waters declare His gentleness. And the soul, resting deeply, declares His goodness. The sun lowers behind the hills. Its last light rests softly upon the meadow. The air turns cool, sweet with the scent of earth and fading blossoms. The traveler remains where he is, still beside the stream, eyes half open, body unmoving, heart awake. He watches the sky change. Colors melt from gold to rose, from rose to violet, from violet to the deep calm of dusk. The first stars begin to bloom, faint at first, then brighter. He feels the rhythm of the day slowing, as though creation itself prepares for prayer. Breathe in, dusk. Breathe out, day. Let everything begin to settle. Let everything come home. He whispers softly, "My lips will praise you. My soul will boast in you. All who hear will be glad." The words drift upward, joining the breath of the world. They are not loud, not formal, just gentle truth carried on air. He looks at his hands, open upon his knees, once clenched in worry, now relaxed, open, ready to give and to receive. This, he realizes, is what offering means. Not sacrifice, but surrender. Not loss, but love returning to its source. Breathe in, surrender. Breathe out, gratitude. Let the heart become a living altar, every breath a quiet flame. He picks up a smooth stone from the ground beside him. It is warm from the day's sun, round and firm in his hand. He turns it over slowly, then sets it beside the stream. A small marker, not of arrival, but of remembrance. A sign to the heart that peace was found here, and can be found again. He gazes upward. The stars deepen now, spreading like scattered embers across the heavens. He smiles faintly, remembering the first verse of the psalm. I will bless the Lord at all times. His praise shall continually be in my mouth. All times. He thinks, not only in joy, not only in ease, but even here, in quiet endings, in gentle fading light. He breathes in deeply. The cool air fills his lungs, crisp and clear. Each inhale feels like renewal, each exhale like release. He feels as though the evening itself breathes with him. And for a moment, there is no separation between him and the world. Only one long, shared sigh of contentment. He remembers the afflictions, the fears, the long roads that brought him here. And yet none of it feels heavy now. Every sorrow has turned into seed, every wound into wisdom, every tear into clear water feeding the roots of faith. He understands. This is the redemption of pain, not its erasure. but its transfiguration. Breathe in. Peace that stays. Breathe out. Everything that once tried to take it. The traveler lifts his eyes again. The stars pulse faintly. Their light steady. Their silence kind. He knows now that these same heavens watched over him through every season, and will continue long after he rests. For goodness is not something that begins and ends, it simply is. Eternal. Constant. Near. He whispers once more. You are good. In morning and night. In sorrow and in song. In all that is and all that fades. The breeze stirs in answer. Cool air brushing his skin like a gentle touch. He closes his eyes. The sounds of the world begin to blur. Water. Wind. The faint call of a night bird. Each sound merges into one great silence. Not empty, but full. The kind of silence where everything that matters can finally be heard. Breathe in. This moment. Breathe out. The need to hold it. For peace is never owned. Only received. The stars continue their silent worship. The earth cools beneath him. And his heart, like the sky above, opens wide in quiet praise. The heavens declare his glory. The night declares his faithfulness. And the soul, still and grateful, declares his goodness. Night has fully come. The sky is deep and endless. Blue fading into velvet black. Each star glowing like a gentle heartbeat. The meadow is wrapped in stillness. The stream whispering softly in the dark. And beneath the fig tree, the traveler rests. Body calm. Heart full. Soul at peace. He no longer feels the need to speak. There is nothing left to ask. Nothing left to prove. Only the quiet knowing that he has been held, seen, loved. Every step of the way. The long road. The hunger. The fear. The tears. All of it led here. To stillness. To gratitude. To goodness. Breathe in. Peace. Breathe out. Everything else. Let the night cradle you. Let the silence sing to you. He gazes upward. His eyes tracing constellations. Each one an ancient word written across eternity. And he thinks of how every star shines without striving. Without sound. Without demand. Simply being light. Because that is what it was made to be. He smiles faintly. Realizing he too is called to shine. Not by effort, but by being near to the one who is light. The verse drifts through his mind one last time. Oh, taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the one who takes refuge in him. He repeats it, slow and soft, until the words are no longer words, but rhythm, breath, presence, taste, see, rest, trust. Each verb, a way of living, a way of dwelling in peace. Breathe in, belonging. Breathe out, fear. Let the spirit move through the space between heartbeats. He feels the cool air upon his face, the soft brush of wind through grass. He can hear the gentle rustle of leaves above him. Every sound feels purposeful, every shadow safe. And he realizes the world is worshipping even now, not with words, but with being. The stars, the wind, the water, the soil, each declaring the same truth: the Lord is good. He places a hand over his heart. It beats slowly, steady and sure. He smiles, because even this simple rhythm feels like praise. Each beat a quiet thank you, each breath a silent amen. Breathe in, gratitude. Breathe out, surrender. You are held. You are loved. You are home. He closes his eyes, and the line between waking and rest begins to fade. The peace that filled the air now moves within him. Deep, steady, eternal. He drifts, not away, but inward, into the calm presence of God that waits beyond thought, beyond time, beyond all striving. In that quiet, everything glows, not bright, but tender, as though love itself lights the inside of his being. He understands now that goodness is not a moment or a meal. It is the nature of God himself. And once tasted, it changes everything. Once seen, it cannot be unseen. Once known, it cannot be forgotten. Breathe in, forever. Breathe out, now. Let the two become one in your rest. The stars continue their gentle watch. The stream murmurs its endless lullaby, and heaven seems to lean close to earth, whispering softly into the quiet. All is well. All is whole. All is loved. The heavens declare his glory. The earth declares his goodness. And the soul, at peace, resting in eternal light, declares, it is enough. God is good, always good. Now rest, deeply, safely, fully. Let peace cover you like the night. Let your dreams be gentle, and your heart still. The story rests here, but the goodness continues. Always near, always faithful, always kind.